Dadamyz's son. Abazin Tales. Once upon a time, a prince came back home from a trip. He arrived at the place where his servants waited to help him get off his horse. Suddenly, a rooster flew up to the top of the horse tie and crowed, "Cock-a-doodle-doo." The servants rushed around. One took the bridle, another held the stirrup, and a third helped the prince's leg out of the stirrup. But the prince did not get off the horse. He wondered, "What does this mean? How dare this rooster crow in my face?" The prince took out his pistol and shot the rooster. The rooster fell to the ground and stopped moving. Then the prince got off the horse. He was very angry. He shouted, "Do not tie my horse here. Burn the rooster and spread the ashes by the river. Dig up the ground around the tie for 2 elbow deep and take it away. Clean the cart and fill it with clay. Put the clay in the hole, set up a new tie, and pack it down. After you do this, put down blue stones around it. I do not want anything left of that horrible rooster." The prince gave these strange orders and went inside. The servants were confused, but they started working. The prince had his lunch and rested while they worked hard. They finished everything, even swept the yard. When the prince came out after his nap, he looked around and went back inside without saying a word. The servants whispered to each other, "Unhappy. May Allah punish him. He is rich and we are working hard," said one. "The poor rooster did nothing wrong," said another. "What if the prince gets angrier? There may be trouble," said the third. Soon people heard about the prince's foolishness. They talked about the rooster and laughed at the prince in the streets and alleys. 3 days later, the prince rode his horse to the river to see where they spread the rooster's ashes. While he was riding, he heard someone singing by the river. The song traveled far over the water. "Do not play jokes with the prince. The prince does not miss when he shoots roosters. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Shake, rooster army. You cannot gather your insides. Cock-a-doodle-doo." The prince stood up in the stirrups and looked around, but he could not see anyone. He checked all the stones by the river, but he did not find the singer. When it got dark, the prince returned home. His servants helped him off the horse. The prince looked furious. His eyes burned with anger. When the princess saw her husband's face, she asked, "What is wrong? Who made you angry?" The prince told her everything about the song he heard by the river. "Just as I thought," said the princess. "I told you many times you spoil the servants too much. No one from another village will come here to sing. It was one of our own." "When did I spoil them?" asked the prince. "They are afraid of me. We must find him," said the princess. "This singer cannot escape us." The prince's anger grew, and the princess added fuel to the fire. They did not sleep all night, arguing like crows. At dawn, roosters began to crow everywhere in the village. "Cock-a-doodle-doo. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Cock-a-doodle-doo." The prince and princess rushed to the window. The prince remembered the rooster he killed and sighed heavily. "Today I will call my manager and tell him everything. He must find this singer." The manager was alone and could not find the singer, so he told 3 helpers about the story. The 3 told it to 3 more friends. Soon, the whole village was talking and laughing about the prince. The prince called the manager again and shouted, "You foolish man! You have embarrassed me more." "What good is shouting?" The princess interrupted. "What was said between 2 people is no longer a secret. You should think of a way to help the situation." "Yes," shouted the prince. "Let's gather everyone and tell them to find this singer. Whoever knows him will be rewarded. If they do not find him, I will punish them." The prince set a deadline of 3 days. 3 days passed and they did not find the singer. The prince became very angry. He shouted at people and threatened them, but they still did not find the singer. Then one morning, a happy young man with a holy coat ran into the prince's courtyard, jumped on the tie, and sang loudly so everyone could hear, "Do not play jokes with the prince. The prince does not miss when he shoots roosters. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Shake, rooster army. You cannot gather your insides. Cock-a-doodle-doo." "Hey, prince, stop hurting people. They are not guilty of anything. I wrote this song about you," shouted the young man. He jumped off and ran away. The princess was the first to hear him. "Catch him! Don't let him escape!" She yelled to the servants, but they pretended to chase him and did not really try to catch him. The princess ran to the prince. "Now we know who to find. It is the son of Dadamyzh. His name is Jerpy." They remembered Dadamyzh was a carpenter in the village. He worked hard but died while building the prince's house. The princess also remembered his wife, who fell from the attic and died. They did not know about their son, Jerpy. Jerpy grew up as an orphan, living wherever he could. People helped him with food and offered kindness. When he was older, a poor widow took him in. From her, Jerpy learned how his parents died and swore to get revenge on the prince. "Now we have the bad guy," said the prince after hearing the news. He called the manager and ordered him to find Jerpy. The manager searched everywhere but could not find Jerpy. The prince did not rest either. Every day he rode his horse looking for him. One day, while riding along the river, he heard the familiar voice, "Do not play jokes with the prince. The prince does not miss when he shoots roosters. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Shake, rooster army. You cannot gather your insides. Cock-a-doodle-doo." Jerpy was standing on a high rock at the entrance to a cave. The prince took his pistol and rode fast towards him. Jerpy threw his coat over his head, waved his arms, and shouted, "Ha ha ha!" The prince's horse got scared, threw him off near the cliff by the river, and ran away. Jerpy saw the prince was unconscious. He took the prince's pistol and knife and put them on himself. Now Jerpy had a weapon. The horse returned home without the prince. The princess raised an alarm. They searched for the prince and found him, but they had to call all the doctors. One doctor said the prince's liver was torn. Another said his heart was out of place. They bandaged him and went home. The next morning, the prince woke up and called the manager. "The son of Dadamyzh lives in a cave by the river. I saw him myself. Catch him and bring him to me, and put my pistol under my pillow." "Where is your pistol?" asked the princess. "You came back without it." When he heard this, the prince said, "It is him, the son of Dadamyzh," and fell unconscious again. 3 more days passed. One night, Jerpy snuck into the prince's stable, cut off the tail of the prince's favorite horse, and hung it on the tie. In the morning, the princess rushed to tell the prince, "Someone cut your horse's tail and hung it on the tie." "Oh no, I am dying," cried the prince and fell unconscious again. But Jerpy did not let the prince rest. That night, he set the prince's house on fire. The manager called people to put out the fire, but they helped the fire spread instead of putting it out. The prince's wealth burned down completely. They barely saved the prince and his wife. Now the prince could not take it anymore. His heart broke. What happened next? The manager ran away somewhere. The princess was left alone, like a fish on sand. Jerpy took the prince's horses and sheep and gave them to the villagers. "Take this, good people," said Jerpy. "This is your work and it comes back to you." This is how old people tell the story of Jerpy, the son of Dadamyzh.